Hi, everyone. Brad Porter here with my weekly Sunday update. Another exciting week. I was in Seattle at the beginning of the week celebrating the retirement of Jane Mooney, our VP of Finance and Head of Strategy. Jane has been part of the Cobot journey from day one. I asked her, I pulled her out of retirement and asked her to give us 3 years to help build the company, build the foundation, build our product strategy, our go-to-market strategy. Jane's been an incredible partner. We will miss her deeply, but are excited to celebrate her graduation back to retirement. She has a lot of exciting stuff planned. I'm a little envious, but that's okay. We'll keep building the business. I also got to check in on our foundation models progress with our foundation model AI team in Seattle. Super exciting stuff. We're really pushing the limits. We've taken advantage of physical intelligence pi knot model as kind of a foundation, and then using our techniques to really push it to be able to broaden and generalize into novel situations and novel environments with very small amount of refinement data, human labeling data, and some self-play. I think the self-play concept is really fascinating. There's a fascinating article, paper just published by Apple that argues that these foundation model reasoning models are not reasoning in very sophisticated ways. They are, again, building off of kind of statistical pattern matching scaffolding. Now, I actually think our brains are largely statistical pattern matching signal processing engines, and so doesn't mean that we have figured out everything about how our brain works. But at the end of the day, I'm still bullish that we're going to continue to find ways to use this kind of core of foundation models to achieve greater and greater levels of reasoning. But I think self-play is a big part of that. And what I think was fascinating is the idea that we anthropomorphize AI when we see it, and therefore we over generalize on its abilities. So as we see the kind of the trace of the thinking tokens in these reasoning models, we tend to think that, oh wow, it's thinking, it's really, and it's like, no, it's maybe chasing its tail a little bit and spinning a bit. And as I've read those things, I'm like, that's not how my brain thinks about things. And I think there's a little bit of a kind of refinement that comes from playing and interacting in the world. And so, we have a puzzle set up constantly. As my 17-year-old daughter is severely impacted by neurological diagnosis of autism, but she really struggles with large language models. She struggles with language models, and it means understanding the rules of soccer, things like that, are hard. But it means she can sit and do a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, as well or as fast as you or I. It has great fine motor coordination, great visual processing, and some there's some level of reasoning going on there, and it's obviously not large language model based because that's a deep area of struggle for her. I also have this I kind of keep on my desk. I brought it out for this. I don't know how to solve this puzzle, right? But if I were trying to solve it, I'm going to play with it a lot, right? And I believe the objective of the puzzle, it's funny, it doesn't come really with an objective. I believe the objective is to try to take this ring off of this, but it looks impossible, right? But I bet if I played with it for a few hours, maybe a few days, I would figure it out. And I think where we need to go in our AI research and in our, both for physical AI and for these reasoning models, is how do we do a little more iterative, interactive play? How do we hypothesize? How do we test? How do we kind of remember the results of our tests? And start to kind of use reasoning and constraints to break things down. And so maybe that's some level of kind of intrinsic symbolic processing, but I think it's really how do we try something, see what works, learn from it, and then keep trying. And what I tend to see in these large language models is they chase their tail a bit. And what I see in physical AI is that we're going to not be able to memorize everything about the world. We're going to have to come up to a novel doorknob and let the robot play with it. Our robot, interestingly, learned with self-play that if the door didn't fully close, it doesn't need to use the door handle. It can push it. The setup we have is on a, the door is on a springed hinge, so it recloses, but sometimes it doesn't fully latch, and the robot figured out that it doesn't have to twist the door handle if it wants to just push the door open if it didn't fully clasp. And that's kind of a surprising novel result. But what comes out of playing in the real world versus trying to memorize a bunch of patterns. And so lots more work to do in the AI space. Super excited about the progress we're making. Hope you all have a great Sunday, and I'll talk to you later.